What time of year is it? It's football season. That's awesome. I've been excited for football season to start since it ended last season. Football is the most popular sport in America. More Americans watch football than any other major sport, which is a prime reason why fantasy football is growing so fast. I'm here to tell you about fantasy football and hopefully entice you to play this coming season. I'm going to tell you about the different types of leagues and drafts that there are, the different websites, or the best websites, in my opinion, to play the game on, what types of rosters you can have, whether it be the standard roster or a custom roster, and reasons why I personally play fantasy football. As a fantasy football pro with over 11 years experience, I'm here to tell you about the different types of drafts. My favorite is the redraft, where you have an entirely new team every season. You draft your team once at the beginning of the year, and you play with that specific team throughout the year. Another type of draft is an auction draft. You only have one draft with an auction draft, but you have specific number of a specific amount of money that you're allotted, and you pay dollars for a player. Every manager has the same amount of money, and you do it's auction style, to where you can say, I want to pay $40 for Adrian Peterson, or I want to pay $25 for Vincent Jackson. Auction drafts are more strategic because you have to take in account of your entire roster, as well as the amount of money that you spend on each player. Another type of league is a keeper league. A keeper league starts out as a redraft league. You start with nothing, and then you draft your team. The next year, when your entire league comes back, all 10 or 12 teams, you guys have the option of keeping 3 or 4 players from the previous season and then starting your draft in the next rounds. There's also week-by-week fantasy football leagues. Week-by-week fantasy football leagues are a lot of fun because you get to do the draft every single week and your team changes all the time. A lot of people like week-by-week fantasy football leagues because they believe that the draft is the best part of the fantasy football experience. It is, but with a week-by-week league, your team is always changing, so you can't grow an attachment to a specific team. Some websites that you can use are NFL.com, CBSSports.com, Yahoo.com, and ESPN.com. Those are the more popular ones because of how user-friendly they are, how much they help you out with setting your roster, and the ease of the apps that you can have on your phone. Every one of those websites has very user-friendly apps that you can access and that you can manage your team right from your cell phone, which makes it very convenient. When it comes to managing your team, you have to set up your rosters. A standard roster is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 kicker, as well as 1 team defense. It sounds like a lot, but it's not that bad at all. That's who you're drafting. So your standard lineup is what I just mentioned. A custom lineup, you can have 2 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers. You can have a flex position, which you can put any position in. I like to set up my leagues with 1 flex position of a tight end, wide receiver, or a running back in that 1 spot, as well as 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, and 1 tight end. And as it goes, you as the league member or you as the league commissioner gets to decide how your roster is set up. Personal reasons on why I play fantasy football. Well, I'm a Buccaneers fan and they don't win very often. So to keep me into the game, I have to play fantasy football because I'm pretty good at that. So I have something to look forward to every season. Fantasy football is a lot of fun. If you like football at all, you will absolutely love fantasy football. The best part about fantasy football for me is the camaraderie with my buddies. We get together and do our draft, and then we talk crap to each other all week about how much we're going to beat the other team or how bad the other person's team is, and it's just a lot of fun to tease and make fun. Another benefit of fantasy football, or a reason why I play, is that if I didn't play fantasy football, I would know everything there is to know about my team, and I wouldn't care to learn anything else about the other teams. With fantasy football, You have to know every single aspect of every team in order to be successful. Another good reason about playing fantasy football is the prizes. You can win a lot of different prizes. Me and my buddies specifically, we just do a money. We do a buy-in like $25 or $50, and that buy-in will go towards the prize pool. And the first, second, and third place teams get paid out at the end of the year. That's always a nice little chunk of change to get. Another prize would be a trophy, which I have 2 of them because I am a fantasy football pro, like I told you. So I've won, in 11 years, I've won six of my leagues. I've been the champion. And only 2 of those leagues we have the trophies. So I highly recommend you get on the trophy bandwagon if you guys start playing fantasy football as I want you to. It's just something else to have to brag a little bit. So now that I've told you about the different types of drafts, the different types of rosters, the websites that you can access, I really hope that you are interested in playing fantasy football, and I hope you jump on it and knock it out this year. Good luck.